G'day everyone, welcome back to another episode. So this week I'm going to continue on with the hard dodger. So we're going to see how far I get. I want at least everything welded up, a few things fixed up, which could be a little bit better than I did last week. So I'm going to fine tune it a little bit. And I want to get the roof on because I want to see how it feels. And once it's all tacked up, I just want to spend some time around the area to make sure it feels right. So we're going to get onto that this week, and I might show you some welding that we had done on the rudder bearing. So the guys one of my mates come to do the welding. He's better than me, so he can do a better job. He done 3 passes, so just one to bridge the gaps, and then 2 big weld passes around both sides. So I'll show you that too. Thanks guys, let's have a look. So it's starting to flash up a little bit, but that's no problem. We're going to give that a bit of a Scotch Brite and clean it up. So you can see the welds on the inside. They were done with a TIG. So nice big thick fillet all the way around. And what is the hardest part, I'm not sure if I can even get a camera in there to have a look, is getting in and underneath here with a TIG. Let's get some light in there. So that would have been a very difficult weld, especially considering you've only got 25mm clearance to get in there. So let's see my finger for comparison. That's how thick you've got to get your TIG torch in. So that's an amazing job. The outside weld. It's nice and sealed up all the way around. So I'm happy that I got a professional to weld that. That would have been a very difficult weld to do. It's a lot of passes. You've got to keep the heat down and not distort the inner sleeve. You only had one shot at getting it right underneath that part, which only had the 20mm clearance. So much happier that a professional did that. I will do a dye penetrant test probably next episode on that. So I'll run everyone through how to test your welds, make sure they're perfect if they're structural. So just give yourself that peace of mind, just test your welds. It's the only way to be sure. So we'll run through that next episode. But let's get back onto the hard dodger. So before I block all this up and put a panel in here, I've got to fix this here. So when I removed all this old hard dodger, this seemed to have, what they've done is they've welded and it blew through as they welded. And then as I cut, I opened up the hole which they had patched up from their welding. And these 2 plates are misaligned as well, but with putting the hard dodger back in this position, that's going to hide that, so I won't have to fix that up, but I do have to fix this. So I'm going to cut this out and then template it up and plasma cut out a piece to fit in and weld it in. Alright, I'm getting pretty happy with everything, how it's all laid out. My next step is to fix up these little uprights here. So if we can see here, we've got a little bit of a stick out here. So this bar here, the angle's a little off, because if I was to stick a window in there, this window will come nicely, then we'll have a bit of a stick up, and then this window will fade back out. So I'm gonna have to cut these tacks off and then just spin this bar around a bit to make that transition nice and smooth. Alright, so I've re-tacked that in position, and we've got a little bit of a nicer transition here now. That's just basically just a little bit of a angle change, that's to be expected, and when this window goes in, they both will look flush. So it's much better now, no more sticking out parts. Unfortunately, because of the angle change, I've got a bit of a big gap up the top and bottom to weld up. Not a challenge, it's just going to be a little bit of an annoying weld to do. Alright, so my next step is to do the sides. So we've got the windows all straightened up now. I'm going to start welding in the panels on the side now. Alright, we're getting mid-afternoon now, so it's getting hot. All the metal that I touch is hot for the touch, so I'm going to have to pull out the gloves. But we've got basically everything tacked in. We've got the side walls tacked in now. These bits have been readjusted. Next step is I'm going to cut this much closer to the shape. The other day I drawn these lines on. I'm going to cut them out pretty close, but not perfect. I'm going to put it back on just to double check that it all fits on nicely, and then I'll remark it if I have to, and then do a final cut. I'm then going to use that as a template to lay on the top of this big guy, and then trace it onto that. That is galvanized steel, but we'll deal with that, so to make sure that that's coated properly. But we will trace it onto that, cut out the roof structure, and see if we can utilize some of that steel to go on the top here. So let's get to that. Put the template on top of the old hard Dodger, and you can see the big difference in the span on the roof. I mean, this one would have given you more shade, but it really encumbers your view of the mast, see if your lines were tangled or whatever. So I'm going to mark that out and cut the new roof with this piece. So I had a bit of camera malfunction. I think the GoPro overheated, so I lost my footage, but I cut it out there, nice triangle. I think it'll sit on the roof. I still have to trim the legs off, and parts of the old Dodger still has to come off. I cut this in half because I need to get it off the boat and it's a bit heavy. So I cut that off, and I'm going to try and throw that overboard since it's a little lighter. And now we've got to prep this ready to go on. Unfortunately, I think I've run out of time again, so this Dodger may be a 3-part episode. So let's have a look. I've got the roof on, I've got everything tacked in, I've reinforced these corners, just doubled them up to be 50mm with 2 lots of 25mm bar. The roof is on, it's got a nice curve to it. That's the original roof that was on there, but the original Dodger was only this thick, so I'm gonna have to tack on another bit to bring it out the full width of a new Dodger. So we just got about that much extra room, like seating room, so that we're a lot wider down here, so you got a better bed to lay down on. If one person's laying there, the other person's laying there, it's a little bit better, a little bit wider to spread out on. So yeah, everything's all done. We've got the panels in here, and we've got all the windows in place, a few tacks on the roof. So we'll just let it sit like this for a bit and we'll get a feel on what it looks like. But it's just about there. We've just got a few little odd jobs to finish off. We've got to make an infill panel to go into each side, and then we've got to get the 6mm thick bar welded on the insides here. But unfortunately, the 10-day forecast for the next week is all thunderstorms. So I may not get back onto the hard Dodger for next episode. I may be inside the boat and cleaning up some of the last 2 rooms that I've got to clean up, ready to do the fitting out and starting the rebuild inside the boat. So stay tuned next week. If the weather's bad, I'll be inside. If not, I'll continue on with the Dodger. Leave a comment, let us know how we're going, and hit a subscribe if you want. The subscribing's free, everyone can do it, doesn't cost anything. So just let us know what you think, and we'll get back to everyone. See you next week, guys.